Welcome back to Understanding the Process. My name is Prince, and this is how Arsenal can defeat Manchester United. Let's go. This Sunday, Arsenal face Manchester United at Emirates Stadium. There's a lot of build-up before this game, and I'm going to get into how we can defeat them, the kind of lineup that we should be putting out there. But first of all, let's look at the build-up for the game. Now, great tweet by John McKenzie here. He says, the Arsenal and Man United game has reached a point of narrative perfection. Whatever the outcome of that game, the result will colour the debate for weeks after. Either team is fine or dependent on which one wins or loses. And that is how this game means and what it means to fans. It's a big game right before the international break. And we just, what feels like threw away 2 points to Forest at home. So this game is essential to really help the mood at the club regain some of that positivity, Now, in my opinion, Arsenal didn't perform too badly against Forest, and we deserve to win that game. But in football, it's about you win or you lose. And this game coming up is important. Important to really paint that perspective and that narrative. Now, Arsenal sit in 5th place. Man United sit in 8th place. And Man United are off the back of a very hard-fought win against Forest. A game which they started off not very well, but it ended up finishing very well. Same happened against Wolves, where they won 1-0. They didn't play too well. And against Tottenham, they lost 2-0. So for United as well, it's kind of like a narrative game to really show that they are back on track and they are on the road to success. Because so far, their performances haven't shown it. And like Gary Neville said for Sky Sports, United are going to have to raise their game, but Arsenal are going to have to sort themselves out. This is how it feels. It feels like both teams are in a position where none of them are playing really that well, and this game can really turn that around. So let's look at how Arsenal can defeat Manchester United. So there's so many things we can look at when it comes to this game, but in my opinion, when it comes to how Arsenal can beat Man United, we need to look at 3 key themes. The first is in the attacking phase. I believe when Arsenal are attacking, especially down Man United's left-hand side, we can exploit something, guys. That is the weak side for Manchester United. Number 2 is in our defensive transitions. That is in Man United's counter-attacks. We need 1v1 specialists in our team, and we'll dive into that shortly. And the third point is build-up. Our build-up has to be good, because I believe that Manchester United currently struggle when it comes to their defensive transitions. That is Arsenal's potential attacking transitions, our counter-attacks, when we beat the press. I believe our build-up is key in this game, and we'll look into how that can really change the tide of the game. Now, let's begin with attack and exploiting Man United's left-hand side. It's most likely going to be a Dalot or Cucurella versus Saka matchup when it comes to that left-hand side dynamic, or Arsenal's right-hand side dynamic. Man United are in the market right now for Cucurella, so he could be the player that ends up taking that position. But still, Cucurella or Dalot, that side is going to be integral to Arsenal's attack. Next, we need to provide Saka with those overlaps and those underlaps to be able to exploit that side. And Forest and Spurs created a lot of chances that way. Spurs created one of their goals that way. And we can look into some of the examples next. So, this is some clips, and we're going to talk through them as we go along. This is the first clip, and it's from Man United versus Forest. We can see straight away that there's a gap right between the fullback, who is Dalot in this example, and Eriksen, who is dropping back to provide support, right? This side, if we can get Saka and Ben White really coordinating, linking things up, we can create a lot down this side. And Brennan Johnson in this case is in, and that's a great chance for Nottingham Forest actually. Created down that left-hand side. Good link up, good underlaps, good movement. And Man United are really struggling at the moment to find the right balance to cover that side. Here's another example that's coming up. Again, this is against Spurs, and this is where Spurs' first goal came from. Look at all the space that Kulusevski has to run into. Man United just don't come across early enough. We have Luke Shaw here, who drops back, and then we have over here, this is Garnacho, the left winger. Against us, it may be Marcus Rashford, but regardless, defensively, down that side, Man United are struggling to find the right balance. As we go through, we see Kulusevski drives all the way to the byline, cuts it back, and that is how Tottenham create their first goal. And here is obviously last year's goal that Saka scored. And you can see down that left-hand side, we have Luke Shaw and we have Eriksen, who is coming across to provide that cover. Now, Saka beats Eriksen with ease here. And this is what I mean by Man United are really struggling to find the balance, which really solidifies them down that left-hand side. And we can be fruitful if we play the right balls and provide the right support to Saka down that side. Now, I'm going to go through the teams and how Arsenal should line up, but based off of these points I'm talking about. So first, let's look at that left-hand side, Arsenal's right-hand side, and see how we can really set up to take advantage of Man United's weakness down that side. So, Arsenal's right-hand side, the first name that goes in there straight away, Bukayo Saka. No debate about that. Next to Bukayo Saka, supporting him, has to be Martin Odegaard. And this is why I believe, and this is the point I'm making about Man United's weakness on the left-hand side, is why I believe Ben White should get back into the team as a right back, not as a right centre-back. Ben White should be there, providing them overlaps, providing the underlaps, and really supporting Saka to make sure that Arsenal's attack down that side is as strong as it can be. Next, let's look at defensive transitions. Man United's strength is in their counter-attacking ability, in their transitions. You've heard this, I'm sure, by now, but Erik ten Hag wants Man United to be one of the best transition teams in the Premier League. And I believe to really take control of this game, Arsenal need, in that central spaces and in that rest defence, that 3 and 2 before the attacking 5, we really need 1v1 specialists. We need midfield controllers. It's important to have centre mids who can control that space, the legs, who can run, who can close things down, and who can offer that 1v1 superiority. And also the wingers should always support the fullbacks. I'm talking Saka supporting Ben White, and I'm talking Martinelli supporting whoever plays on that side. So, if we go onto the tactics board, before we do that, let's look at some video clips actually and really see what I mean when I'm talking about trying to control Man United's transition moments. This is in the game that we won 3-2, and you can see in this game that Saka gives the ball away, and straight away Man United have an attacking transition. Born off the back of this transition, we can see that Partey is beaten way too easily. And there's no one else in this position who can then provide Partey with that support. A midfield partner who can get in there, can cover the ground. Xhaka tries, but just can't do it quickly or effectively enough. And Rashford has the opportunity to take the shot, and that is 1-0 to Manchester United. In another example, here's another 1v1 moment off the back of an attacking transition from Manchester United. We have, in this example, Rashford going up against Aurier. Rashford beats him too easily. Ball in, 1-0. That was Man United's first goal back against Forest when they went down 2-0. So, again, those 1v1 specialists will be very essential in controlling the games, in controlling Man United's attacking transitions, and controlling Arsenal's defensive transitions. Here's another example. This is last season's game away, where we played so well but ended up losing. This is one of the goals, and you can see the space in midfield. This is Xhaka, and Albert Sambi Lokonga is here. He goes to press and close down, and Arsenal are beaten with one ball straight through the heart of our team. And just like that, Bruno's through. Poor challenge by Gabriel, who is trying to make up that ground and make up for that space that has been vacated by his midfielders. And Man United are through, and here we go. Anthony is open to put the ball away. I hope I've made a point to you to really drill home how important it is that Arsenal keep that central area compact, Have players in there who can close things down, who can recover effectively, who have that mental awareness of where to be and how to close down those gaps in positions. And that is why when we go back to the tactics board, I believe that in those central areas, we should have Thomas Partey, and as a left 8, we should have Declan Rice. Again, Declan Rice would be responsible for going forward, but most importantly, has got the legs and the agility and the stamina to go up and down and to get back and support Partey in those central areas, to plug those gaps, be able to support Zinchenko if need be out in the wide areas. Again, when we talk about 1v1 brilliance, that is why I believe in defense, the first name in the centre back team sheet, Saliba. Next to him, I think Gabriel should be reintroduced, because Gabriel gives you that 1v1 defensive ability. He's aggressive, sometimes a bit too aggressive, like we saw in that example against Man United last year. But on the overall, when it comes to 1v1 defending, Gabriel is one of the best defenders that we have in the team. In terms of, again, fullback supporting their defenders, that is why I believe Martinelli should also be in the squad. Now, let's move on to the third and final point, which I think if Arsenal focus on, they can really make the difference against Man United and help to defeat the Red Devils. And I believe that is the build-up and baiting the press. See, Man United like to press high, and Zinchenko is a player who I think is our best asset when it comes to breaking down the press and building through the lines. So, I think Zinchenko has to start. I think Zinchenko and Partey in that double pivot is essential in this game. I also think Man United are light in central areas. We've seen them trying to sign Amrabat, and the deal could well go through before the game on Sunday. But Man United, when it comes to that central compactness, they really lack something. If we can have a look here, this is the first minute where they played against Spurs. We can see here that Man United are pressing high. We have Garnacho here. Garnacho over here. We have Anthony here. And we have Bruno and Rashford really trying to push up and press the Tottenham build-up. As we can see, they keep pressing. Tottenham stay calm and composed. And here we go. This is the moment where Tottenham start to break the press. We can see that Mount has jumped. That is Bruno that's jumped. Sorry, that's Garnacho that's jumped. Rashford has jumped. Fernandes has jumped. And Anthony's jumped. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. And if we can beat that, if Tottenham beat that, they are through the first line of pressure and through on a Man United goal. And look at that. And that's in the first minute, guys. And Man United and Tottenham are through, and they are 4-on-4. Son, just out of your picture over here. Kulusevski, Richarlison, Maddison. Here's another example. In this example, we can see Man United have a chance on goal, and that stems from Pedro Porro being pressed and him being dispossessed whilst trying to build up. So that build-up control is essential, because if we have poor build-up, Man United could pounce and then they could create their chances as a result of that. But if our build-up is to an elite level, if we have Zinchenko in there, Partey in there, the guys that can break the lines, Gabriel in there, another one who's good with his passing, we can really, really capitalize on Man United's high press and high line. Now, there's a few more videos here, and if you want to see those, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll be out with some more analysis before the game on Sunday. But if we go back to the tactics board, this is why I believe Zinchenko has to start. Zinchenko has to start. And we can see straight away how the team sets up. It's a familiar shape we saw last year. Zinchenko inverting, a double pivot with Partey helping with that build-up structure. Gabriel out wide with Saliba and Ben White here. Ben White supporting on that right-hand side, helping to attack Man United's weak side. And that leaves us with one position up front. So that one position left, I believe, has to go to the player based on merit who performed best. And that's why I think Nketiah should get the nod. Now, to summarize, We need to make sure in this game that we create those overloads, especially on Arsenal's right hand side with Saka, with Ben White. We need to make sure that we have those 1v1 specialists, those 1v1 specialists in there who can give that central control and can help to control Man United's transition attack moments. And build up control is so key, guys. So that is why I think that lineup should face Man United at the Emirates on Sunday afternoon. Let me know what your lineup is below. Let me know what you think about how we can beat Man City. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, share and subscribe so others can enjoy it too. I'll catch you in the next one.